So people have also been asking about the zero product property. And so what I want you to do real quick, zero product property. Think of two numbers that multiply, because that's product. Think of two numbers that multiply to equal zero. I guarantee you, no matter who you are, no matter what example you thought of, that if you came up with two numbers that multiplied to equal zero, one of your numbers had to be zero. And that is the zero product property. The zero product property, if you want me to write it out, the zero product property is this idea that if two numbers, a times b equals zero, then you know that a equals zero or b equals zero. The only way that it works. Now we use this property when we have quadratic equations because we can write quadratic equations as a multiplication problem. So here's one quick example. Let's say I have x minus 3 times x plus 5 equals 0. Right here, this is like my a, and this is like my b. So what can I conclude? Either the first part is 0 or the second part is 0. Either x minus 3 is 0 or x plus 5 is 0. Well, what does that mean? If x minus 3 is 0, x has to equal 3. If x plus 5 is 0, you subtract 5 and you get x equals negative 5. And those are your two solutions. That's the zero product property. The zero product property allows you to take a multiplication problem, in other words, two factors, and split it into two separate questions. Now, you might want a little bit more complicated of an example. So let's say that we had 3x plus 5 times 5x minus 3 equals 0. Still really the same idea. You have an a times a b, and it equals 0. So either your first piece is equal to 0, or your second piece is equal to 0. And then these are just two separate problems like what we've been solving all year long. Do them separately. Don't try to do them at the same time. The first one, you subtract 5. So 3x is negative 5. Then you divide by 3. And you have x is negative 5/3. There you go. That's one of your solutions. Then you go over to your second problem. Plus 3. So then you get 5x equals 3. And then divide by 5. So x is equal to positive 3/5. And you've used the zero product property to solve. The last little wrinkle is that a lot of times quadratic equations don't come in factored form. A lot of times you'll have a quadratic equation like x squared minus 10x plus 24 is equal to 0. Here, you want to think of how can I make this into a multiplication problem? And the answer is factoring. All that box and diamond, all those multiplying and adding problems that we've been doing, those are to use the zero product property. I know that x times x makes x squared. There's a lot of ways to make 24. The one that's going to work here is 6 times 4. How did I know 6 times 4? Because it adds to make 10. If I make both of them negative values, I get a negative 10. Now I can use the zero product property because I have my a times b. X minus 6 equals 0 or x minus 4 equals 0. Add 6 to get x equals 6. Add 4 to get x equals 4. That's the zero product property.